All right.
Hi guys. Let's see who's in here so I can say hi. Blaze. Hey Jenny T. Oh, Tara Zactyl. I almost passed your name. Ronnie. Cat Eyes. Hi Cat Eyes. How are you feeling today? Hey Veronica. Bingo's mom. Hey. Oh, hey Sean. I was reading. I'm like keeping up with Irene. I'm like, oh, it says Irene's account, but it said it's you, Sean. Um, I did say Bingo's mom, I think. Okay. Um, but so you guys, I am on my phone today because I could not get my laptop. I don't know what I did, but I off-centered the pages, the page, whatever. Like I think like the Google, where you type in what you're looking for, whatever. And I tried to like center it, but it still won't let me scroll to the bottom to click the Enter Studio button. So I said, fuck it. Like it was already like 4:24. I'm like, I gotta get on here. So I'm on my phone. Hey Tommy C's. Hey Kim. Um, hey Tech. Um,
You just don't know whatever.
okay, so we have the beautiful 10 with us today.
Hi, Kat.
She's gonna share her story. She was smart and wrote it down. Um, I told her she can, just read from that because it gets a little chaotic when you feel like you have to tell it one way. Hey, Savvy, when you feel like you have to tell it one way, and it just comes out, you go end and middle, then beginning kind of thing. Um, but like I said, everybody tells it, whatever way it comes out, honestly. So, hey, PP, hey, Lisa, um, hey, Christy. So I appreciate you guys coming and supporting her. Um, Let me see, how do I get the banner to the trigger warning banner to play up here? I don't know if I have to just let me see. Let me delete this one. Sorry, you guys. Mike literally using my phone, and I have no idea what I'm doing. What does these dots mean? I don't know what the hell that means. I don't know if you guys can see the banner at the bottom. You probably cannot.
You can't.
Um,
What's that?
You can't see the banner.
No, I can't see the banner.
all right. How the hell do I make it show up?
I know you.
Let's
Oh,
see. That's just me pinning it, but I don't know if it will switch to, like
it's on.
a banner.
Yeah, Blaze is
Is
in.
it okay? So, but is it scrolling to the bottom? Or am I at the bottom or no? It's just sitting like a pinned comment, right?
Like a pen, yeah. Right
Yeah.
over.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me see. I might have to do it off the laptop, maybe. I'm not sure. Oh, here we go. Scroll across bottom. There. Oh, shit. Okay. So there we go. Yay. It's because I didn't click the scroll across the bottom. I'm slow, guys. Okay, just bear with me. Um, hey, Rockstar. Um, all right. So, um, 10, if you want to tell everybody, first of all, who's the cute fur baby in your picture?
That is well. That was my dog Amara. We had to give up over the summer because she had neurological issues, and
Yeah.
it just wasn't safe for the baby. But she was a
Oh,
great dog. We had her since she was a puppy.
she looks cuddly.
Uh, oh, I just lost it. Okay, let me find it. Um, so where do you should I start?
Yeah, you can start. Yep, you can start right
Okay.
at the beginning, whatever you started writing.
Okay, so a few years back, just to help with mental health, I just started writing, and I started writing just memories.
Yep.
So I actually wrote it down to a book. I've been starting, and I actually have 2 chapters of it.
Yep.
Um, I can start with. I'll just start it. Okay.
Yep.
I believe my abuse was like a domino effect.
Right.
After one bad thing happened, just another was going to happen.
Yep.
First was physical, and I felt alone. That was by my dad. Uh,
Hmm.
I was always looking for love and acceptance um, when I was little, and uh, my mom always kind of just told me to act happy. Everything will get better. I never really believed that
Yeah.
because at such a young age, I lost hope that nothing was.
Hmm.
My sexual abuse only confirmed my theory that bad things will happen to good people. At first, the sexual abuse did make me feel loved. There was no bruises, no welts on my body. As soon as it turned, soon it did turn into guilt, it mistrust. I was told to keep a secret about it, and
Right.
if I did it, something bad was gonna happen. Uh, and I I didn't want it to happen at all. I just, it kind of just turned into a chore every single day.
Hmm.
I distanced myself from basically everybody, and I built up a really big wall. Um,
Right.
at the time the mental abuse happened, at the time the sexual abuse happened, mental abuse did starting happen. Because my parents, they got divorced, and it was house to house.
Right.
Um, so I really did. I felt alone, and it was a
Hmm.
big secret to keep. My early preteens, I felt more of an adult than my mom. I was the one really holding the family together, protecting them from any harm. I felt that if any curveball thrown at me, I would be able to handle it on my own. There was no trust. There was no need to trust anybody else with my problems. Um,
Right.
my mom, she was working, so it's more of like she neglected to, keep tabs on us and everything like that. And it kind of just made me feel ignored. Um, it During high school, I chose to go to drugs and alcohol because I had low self esteem. And at the time of high school, that's when it really stopped. Um, every time I got into a relationship, I really never trusted anybody with my feelings. I just pretended I was happy, and my first marriage, I just married him because I thought that's what you do as a normal person. But that doesn't
Right.
happen. Uh, I'm gonna actually read the first chapter of the book that I've written, and this is actually um, it's long, kind of,
In graphic.
Yep.
and let everybody know. Chapter 1. The Easter was my first memory when I was living with both my mom and dad. I only remember my parents together at their house for at the house for holidays. This memory makes me smile, but yet so sad. I remember trying to find eggs from the Easter bunny that left me and my brother. Tim was the oldest, and my brother Ryan, he's only 16 months older than me. So it was kind of like growing up with a twin. Um,
Right.
let's see. That Easter, my brother Tim stole my egg, and my brother Ryan gave me the egg, and I thought that was the greatest thing because we grew up as best friends, and it was
Right.
hard. It was hard keeping this secret my whole life from my best friend.
Yeah.
Um, from an early age, I can remember the physical abuse by my father. I think that that's where my oldest brother got it from, because he would always pick on me. He would line us up to the kitchen for daily smack arounds. We would hide. If we hid, he would only get angrier, and um, the abuse was more severe. Hiding for me always seemed safer because maybe he couldn't find me, but when he would find me, I turned into a rag doll for him because I was so little. After my mom left, no, after my dad left my mom, it was about the time I started first grade. The beating slowly stopped after we didn't live with him and my mom had physical custody. I felt relief knowing that I didn't have to be a rag doll anymore. My mom started dating a guy with 2 daughters. He was fun. Never tried to physically abuse us. For a 6-year-old, I thought I had someone I could trust. I loved the fact that I had 2 other girls in the house and we could play. His oldest daughter never really slept over the house, but his youngest daughter was over every other weekend. She was 3 years younger than me and a drama queen, and she always liked to cry. About 2 months into my mother's boyfriend, 2 months into my mom's boyfriend living with us, we moved to a new apartment, a lot bigger than the trailer that we lived in before. The apartment had 2 bedrooms in the back and 1 bedroom in the front. She picked the front room due to the fact that my brother always used to sleepwalk and get out of the house. I remember it was summertime and he would watch us when my mom worked at the post office. Hold on. I'm just kind of scrolling through.
You're good.
Most of the time during the summer, we were home. I was a sick kid due to my asthma, so a lot of times I wasn't really allowed to play outside. And neighbors upstairs, we were friends with them, but they were kind of dirty, and I couldn't physically go in there because of my breathing issues.
Right.
So on my bad days, I would stay in. And he would ask me if I wanted to nap. I liked naps because on my bad days, it took a lot out of me to breathe. And I'd have to do treatments for help. At first, it was just a nap that that would be about 2 hours, and then he would wake up. He would make dinner for my brothers and me. I never liked wearing pants around my house. I have a very I have a trouble with clothes and textures and like stuff touching me. So I was
like a sensory thing. Yeah.
wearing underwear. That was it. And my
Yeah.
mom never had anything wrong with that. This is gonna be really detailed right now. The day I felt the heaviness in my the day I felt a heaviness, I was playing in my room. I can still see the odd smile on his face. He asked if I wanted to play a game, and if I wanted or felt tired, I could take a nap. He told me to follow him into my mom's room and we can play a game. I should have never followed him. I got up and I started dragging my feet on the carpet to the room after I told him I wasn't sleepy. He followed behind me and he told me that he forgot something. Looking out the window, I saw my brothers leaving the front door and started knocking on the upstairs door to play with the landlord's sons. They were around the same age as my brothers, so they, usually went up there and played. Once I saw them go outside, I focused on how dark it was in the room. How are we going to play a game in the dark? Is what I thought.
Take your time.
You're doing amazing.
Everybody is throwing you hearts and supporting you right now. Take your time. Okay?
He walked back in. He walked back in. He walked over to the closet by the bed. As he faced the closet, he asked me to sit down before we could play the secret game. As I got up on the bed and I sat in the center of the bed, he turned around. I looked forward and he showed me a black handgun. And he asked me if I knew what it was. He asked me if I knew what it was. All I could do was nod up and down. No words spilled out of my 7-year-old mouth. He turned around. He placed the gun back on the top shelf of the closet. Returning back over to the bed, he said if I told anyone about the secret game, that he would have to hurt them. I was so scared. I just sat there and I listened to what he had to say. He called the game the lollipop game. I'll never forget. I will forever remember the rules of the game. That day is burned in the back of my mind. It will never go away. The lollipop game started by playing cat and mouse game on top of the blanket with him under it and me on top. Once you see the mouse pop up, it would be time to catch the surprise under the blanket, and he called what he called was the lollipop. The first time I climbed underneath the blanket, I thought I was really going to get a lollipop out of the game. I was so wrong and innocent.
Take a deep breath. It's okay. Take your time with this.
No.
Yeah, we're in no rush at all, honey. We're literally all here to support you.
What I learned at 7 was the biggest lesson I've ever learned in my lifetime. He told me that he didn't have a really lollipop, but I could lick him and touch his lollipop as he pulled off his gray boxer briefs. I didn't have a choice because all I could do was picture the gun he showed me 10 minutes before. He held my hand. He made me hold onto his penis. He told me it was like a video game and I could move it only up and down. I could lick the top of the joystick because it'll taste good. Under the blanket was so dark and scary. After 5 minutes of touching it with my hand and not using my mouth, he told me I should really try to lick the top of the lollipop he had ready for me. I did what I was told, and I stuck my tongue out and I licked the top, just the tip of my tongue. I was doing it wrong, he said, and he told me just like how I would eat a lollipop. I moved slowly down the lollipop and I tried to bite. He loudly said, "Don't do that. Just lick, suck on the top of the lollipop, no bite." I returned to the lollipop and I felt like the game went on forever under the blanket. Finally, he turned away. He hid his lollipop in a sock after making some weird breathing noise. Turning back, he said, "That was a really good girl for playing games with me today." This wasn't the last time he would play this game with me, and it felt like a chore every day because it was so often. After a few months of the game, it got more rules. We'd play cat and mouse part of the time. Sometimes lollipop game didn't come after. Sometimes it was to look at the stars on the ceiling. I would have to try to stay on top of him as we played the game. At that point, both of us would have no underwear on because that was the second rule of the game into play. I would only have a t-shirt on. Laying on top of him was hard sometimes because he had a round belly. He would tell me to rub his lollipop on my inner thigh as he would stable me on top. He never had me look him in the face when we did the lollipop game or the stars on the ceiling. Most of the time playing the stars game, he would hold me by the chest with one hand and wrap the other one around my upper thigh in the groin area. I'd freeze up every time for a few minutes, but remember why we're playing the game his way. Slowly, I would rub the lollipop up and down my inner thigh. By this point in the game, I was done when the lollipop juice would come out the top. He stopped using the sock at this point, and he would just rub it on my inner thigh and then let go. Sometimes I liked this game better because I didn't have to play the lollipop game. He just started holding my head on the top of the lollipop game when the juice came out, and I just didn't like the taste of it. And I would spit it out, and he would tell me to go brush my teeth and get ready for dinner. Most nights, I didn't like eating because the games always made my stomach hurt. And we only played it when my mom was at work. So I guess that is the first chapter that I've written. Um, there's a lot more. When I went and I lived with my dad, they used to deny me food because after the sexual abuse, I started gaining weight because I thought gaining weight would protect myself.
Yeah.
So when I went and I lived with my dad, my stepmom started taking food away from me because I would hide it. And she would portion my food. And then it just seemed like it kept getting worse. Finally, at 19, I told my mom, and she asked me why I didn't say anything earlier. I was afraid someone was going to get hurt.
Right.
Because he was
Yeah.
still, he was working with my brother, one of my older brothers. Still, he was still part of the family. How am I supposed to say something if they're part of the family?
Right. And they condition, that's, the whole point in them doing things like that is to condition, the kids that they target to not speak. So, like, when people don't report, it's not just because, oh, I'm not sure that this is going to go anywhere. It's out of fear. I mean, fear seems to be one of the biggest reasons why people don't report, why they don't even just disclose to a family member, a friend. It's like, I want to talk about it, I want to get it out, but I don't want anybody to get hurt. um and I mean, you're a kid too. It's like, I mean, even at 19, you don't know for sure that
No,
he's not going to do anything, you know what I mean?
no. So I reported him when I was 19. Uh,
Hmm.
the case kind of it kind of went cold for about a year. And then finally we got a call from the DA and my witness advocate, and we went to trial. Um,
Right.
I wasn't the only child that he touched. He also touched a family friend of ours that I still talk to this day. Um, but it wasn't the same as mine.
Mm-hmm.
for some reason because of her age. 'Cause she was also 3 years older than me when it
Oh,
happened. Um, but he got a back to back sentence
yep.
under 4 counts of child
Good.
molestation, and
Good. What did he get for time? Do you know?
he's not getting out until I'm 40. He got 20
Good.
years for 4 counts.
Awesome. That's
I
good.
enough. I don't, because that's that sticks with you.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's the sad thing is like, what you have to deal with will never go away, while
Yeah.
what he has to deal with is it's temporary, honestly.
And the sucky part is while the judge was making their decisions and they were saying guilty and everything like that, because it went in
Mhm.
front of a jury. Uh,
Right.
his wife was across the way yelling at me that it was my fault that I was taking her husband away.
Oh,
He
fucking well.
His oldest daughter at that time just had a baby,
Wow.
her first baby, and I'm just so glad that he never got to hold those kids that she's
Yep.
had.
I was
And
just gonna say it's good that he has to miss that because, I mean, God forbid.
yeah,
I mean, that's disgusting. And ultimately, he did it to himself. You know what I mean? Um, he took being able to see his grandchildren grow up away from himself.
yeah.
Um, you know,
Um,
so
and around uh, a couple years back, because I have been getting help because I don't want to feel like this for the rest of my life. Like,
absolutely.
um, a couple years back on a New Year's Eve, I was drinking and I was married at the time, and I don't remember getting home, and
Yep.
I wasn't sleeping with my husband for over 8 months. We slept in different rooms and everything like that, and
Hmm.
I remember waking up with no pants on. No pants on, and my underwear is pulled to the side. I confronted him about it, and he goes, I messed up. Just I messed
I
up.
messed up. Yeah,
Not
like you more than messed up.
any type of no.
No,
I was
no
actually
apology. Like,
no apology, nothing. And the fucked up, I was with him when I was going through the court case
so he
about
was already aware
he was
of
aware of what was
what
happening.
the fuck you went through
Yes.
and just chose, the right thing to do was fucking handle himself. Like,
Yeah.
the fuck?
Yep. And I reported that, but I am so sick of going to court. So sick of going to court for stuff like this. Like, I just don't
Yeah.
understand why it happens. Why do people act like this?
It gets exhausting,
It
for sure. You know, and it almost feels like, sometimes it feels like it's more of a deterrent for us
yeah,
survivors than it is for, these disgusting fucking monsters who do this shit to kids. Because I feel like 9 times out of 10, they're in a way getting a slap on the wrist. They're still able to continue with their lives and, you know, do whatever they had been doing, um, while we basically get a full on life prison sentence.
I think they should. They shouldn't be out. They shouldn't have any
No,
access.
they shouldn't, considering, like I said, we're the ones getting the life sentence. I
We
mean,
are.
Out of
you
everybody
know,
in here, every single person has sent you like 3 rows of hearts supporting you while you were telling your story.
Thank you. I haven't looked at the chat because it makes it a lot easier to talk about
Every
it.
single
Oh
person
yeah. You can
is.
always go back and watch it and see all the
Okay.
love in the chat. The chat will go back up, I think, in a couple hours after it's aired, I think.
Yep.
But I am right now. I'm doing some serious thinking where Blazon's doing his catching and everything like that. There's got to be more awareness out there, and
Yep.
I think, quite honestly, it has to start with parents and the school system.
Mm-hmm. It
Um,
really does. I mean,
I
that's what we were saying years ago. We've got to start speaking to the schools. And I finally convinced the air school. They're pretty much on board with it. The principal's like iffy about it, so he's thinking on it. But I may be able to go in there and speak to them, like just do a big assembly, and speak to the kids, about the catching, online dangers, that kind of stuff. So,
that's what I was thinking of doing where I am.
hmm
Their officers talking to the superintendents and everything
yeah,
like uh to get more awareness out here because right now this small town we don't have a
Sex crime
unit.
hmm
We just have homicide and robbery.
Yeah, the detectives that
right,
I deal with in this town, they only have robbery and homicide detectives. So when they were taking on my cases, it's like something completely new to them.
right, yeah. And that's why I said to you before, Blaze, too, like the more you're doing, the more they're seeing that you're going to continue fighting, that you know what I mean? You're not going to just give up because they said no. Like, sorry, no is not an answer I'm willing to accept.
But
And I think,
I also
go ahead.
want to bet that I haven't seen anything in the papers about the Drake cops catching any pedophiles, and
Yeah,
I already got 3 in this town.
that's awesome.
So
Um,
cops need to step up their game.
What's there to think about? Kids will benefit from it. 100 safety awareness in cars and fire drills. What's the difference with all? Yeah, exactly. I mean, I agree, Kim. I mean, it should be something that is mandatory, in my opinion.
good
Um,
because you have the dare officers going in and they're talking
right.
about drugs and alcohol and all that. All
Yep.
right.
That's not even the police stations for internet stranger danger. I was just in the Leominster Police Department looking at all the pamphlets. They have addiction, they have rape counseling and everything like that, and they had nothing on stranger danger.
Yeah.
No, they don't. They don't teach it.
Yep.
Like, and it's sad because there are some parents out there that really don't give a fuck about what their kids do or
Yeah.
what
Right.
happens. But like the child should be able the child should know about safety precautions
Yes.
that what
A
is
thousand percent.
with like
Yep.
the key word the grooming that happens
Yep.
because for me as a 6-year-old coming from an abusive uh, household and then
Right.
thinking receiving love
Mm-hmm.
that's fucked.
It is.
It's
And
just
Dominique, yeah, that's sad that they're giving you shit about doing stuff in the schools. The only reason why I even started with the air school is like my great great grandfather helped build that school, and every last one of the kids in my family has gone to that school, and I have a little bit of leeway. There, so your charger's right there, buddy. So I figured starting with one school where no, the one in the front should be yours.
uh,
Starting there should, kind of make it a little bit easier to work with. You know what I mean?
right now the next city over which is Lowell they have their
sex offender
therapy program in downtown. And do you know what's downtown? The high school, some elementary schools.
Yep.
Why are they having it so close?
And why are they branching
Right.
all Massachusetts to that one
And
point?
it's all of Massachusetts that has to go to there for the
Jules, you remember our Stoughton catch?
meetings.
Yep.
Yep, that's the one. He was going to the Lowell. He was from all the way from Stoughton all the way to Lowell
Wow.
for that therapy.
Yeah. I was gonna say figures. I mean, I'm surprised like they haven't, because there used to be. I don't even know if the place is open. But there used to be. I think it was at the hospital in Fitchburg there, Burbank, I think. And they used to have a I don't know, like a like a town, you could go in there for therapy or a clinic or meetings or whatever, like I guess they call it like a CHC or so, like a community health link type place. But they had one therapist there who worked with like sex addicts and stuff like that. So I mean, I would assume that they would even speak to therapists like that and try to, in every town, and try to get more, like a broader range, I guess, of therapy for, I mean, every aspect, you know. But I mean, I feel like if the therapy is far away, you're less likely to continue. You know what I mean? Because people will eventually come up with an excuse, you know.
Yeah.
Um, oh, I couldn't make it. I couldn't get a ride, whatever, But they should, if they really want to see results from it, I don't see what's the fucking problem with using some of your money that you're using for dumb shit and
Yeah.
use it to set up situations where you're not asking for everybody in the fucking world to fail at everything,
Yeah.
it's insane. And I think that there should be some sort of program that, even if some of these guys do therapy, that if they miss 2 sessions, they have to go to court, like shit, something needs to be done to where they're getting some sort of repercussions, for fucking up.
There should be harsher repercussions for
Mm-hmm.
what they did. For what
Right.
they did.
Yeah, I agree.
That's what Water asked me too.
Like, I think the only thing I'm glad about is by the time I'm 40, the person who molested me, he's gonna be well in his 70s. I don't
Yeah.
think he's gonna make it out of prison. And
Right.
on further note, you still get harassed. You still get harassed as a survivor by
them trying to get out.
Exactly.
I had a
public
defender call me and try to ask me if he was innocent.
Yeah. They did that on Stevie's case too.
Yeah,
it's disgusting.
On his behalf. Are
Yep.
you kidding me?
And then family.
Yeah, it is like they want us to go there and vouch for them and, verify that they've changed or they're a better fucking person. Like, no.
No.
Like, as the least he got was 20 fucking years. Let him serve that and fucking slither his little slimy ass out of there.
Yeah. Like, it dumbfounded me because I was getting better. I was getting better. And then you get hit. You get hit with it again. And it starts all over again. You're that 6-year-old.
Yep. PTSD, flashbacks, everything. It was a hard time pulling her out of that one.
Because, like, now, what if he does get out? What if he gets out because, they're doing that innocence program, the innocence program?
Yep.
I'm sorry. They're in there. They're not innocent. They've already guilty.
Oh, you talk about like the Innocence Project, like the lawyers and stuff that
That's what they
will
were trying
go and
to get.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. It bothers me because it's like, where are those types of programs and companies to help out the survivors? I mean, in all
Yes.
fairness, every time a survivor reaches out for, which is really pisses me off, but reaches out for some sort of resources or anything to kind of help us along, it's we're either shunned or made to feel embarrassed or wronged in some fucking point or another. They are quick to make us look like the bad person. Like, oh, aren't you gonna feel bad when he's like 80 when he's getting out? No, the fuck I'm not. No,
His junk ain't gonna fucking work. I
right.
don't. And
Like, and if it does, castrate them. I mean,
yeah,
like, what do you want me to say? Like, I don't see any one of y'all sitting here fighting for me. Um, and it's like, it's hard for a survivor to find their voice, you know? It is, I mean, it can get devastating and you feel defeated. You feel, and if every corner you turn asking for help is another fucking brick wall, how long do you think these survivors are going to reach out and ask for help?
I
Not fucking long.
I stopped. I
Yeah.
stopped. After the incident with my husband, him raping me, I almost committed suicide.
Yeah. Yeah.
There does get a point to where you just want it to stop.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I've scrubbed my skin. I mean, bad, using one of the loofahs, just scrubbing it like my skin was peeling like
Yeah.
bad. I mean, I had like raised spots, you scratch yourself so hard. I've done
Yeah.
that to myself plenty of times. I have huge cuts on my arms from self-harm because I just genuinely like physical pain has always been easier for me to manage than emotional pain, and I didn't want to deal with it anymore. It was like nightmare after nightmare,
Yeah.
trigger after trigger. You kind of get to a point where you're like, is it going to end? And every time you spoke about it, somebody would phrase something. I mean, and maybe even those who thought they were trying to be helpful, but it's like, the way you're wording it to me, you make it seem like it's my fault. Like I fucking wore a specific outfit, or I, at 12 years old was turning somebody on and it's my fucking like, are you kidding me? You know? I
Like,
mean,
like who? I just don't get. Yeah, I don't get it. Like, I was 6 years old. What
yeah,
type of innuendo did I give him
right.
that made him think it was okay?
And that's the sad thing. I mean, nothing that we have ever said or done would ever make, in my opinion, make somebody, I mean, maybe a sick person in their mind, but make them, full on think that, we're trying to come at them or, like we want them to do this shit to us, like they think that in their head because they're fucking sick. Um,
And
which,
it went on for a while.
yeah,
Started when I was 6, and it did end when I was 13, almost
yeah,
14. Because at that time, I kind of, I kind of gestured to my mom that something was happening, and
yeah,
instead of like her having an actual talk with me, she had me sit across the table from him
yeah.
and tell him what I think he did, and I couldn't. I couldn't. I shut up.
Is that what they said to you? What you think he did?
My mom wanted me, well, kinda. She wanted me to explain what I was trying to tell her to him of what was
Like,
going.
first of all, why put me in his presence after that?
Yeah,
Um, and it's like, second of all, like I say, all the time on this channel. No fucking child is going to come out their mouth with some shit like that out of nowhere.
No.
It doesn't fucking happen. I
And,
don't care what anybody says. It doesn't fucking happen. It comes from somewhere. It's something they learned, whether they have had it done to them, whether they've seen it done, or they've heard about it. It's coming from somewhere. They don't just make it up.
and it is.
So,
It's like that was the last. That was probably the last time it ever happened to me because I think he was scared because he knew what I was trying to say and I shut up about it.
right.
Like that was like the end of everything happening.
Yeah. And it sucks because that's their goal. They don't want us to speak. It's like you
Oh
fucking stole my innocence and my voice, and you want me to continue to remain silent. Like,
yeah.
um, but it's like that's like the biggest thing that we can do by pushing back, uh, is being able to talk about it and get it out there because it's like somewhere along the line, people are going to get sick of hearing us and they're going to have to do something about it,
Oh yeah. I
you
know.
know? And that's how I feel, which has been my sole purpose in, like, yes, it helps us heal, but it also shows everyone out there, hey, Nanya, shows everyone else out there that we have our voices and we're not going to sit quiet anymore. Like, you are eventually going to have to do something because now you got a gang of us survivors who aren't going to shut the fuck up, until you do something about you know?
Yeah.
So, and they don't like it, and that's how they work. They don't want to hear about it anymore. They're gonna do something to shut us up. So, like, you know, kind of give these guys a harsher sentences. First punishment shouldn't be a slap on the wrist. You
No.
shouldn't do it one time at all.
Or probation so they can go to their meetings. Like, all
Right.
right, wait, hold on. They just raped a child, and you're gonna give them that?
Yep.
What about that child? What is that child? What is that child receiving now? A
Right.
life of night terrors. A
Yep.
lifetime thinking, I did this. I made this happen. It was my fault because that's what I was told in the very beginning.
Yep. Yep. Sadly, and it comes from everyone. It's like you hope and pray that you can talk to one person in your family, that you're close to, and explain it to, and that they'll understand and help you fight back. Um, but it's almost like they're wondering why
They're,
you're saying that, like,
and a lot of times I feel like they don't want to believe that's happening under
yeah, because they're
roof.
scared, right? They're scared. They're like, how did I not know? Um, but it's like, I mean, I would rather have somebody sit and have that thought process than what we have to live with.
Yeah.
But it's like that's why I always say to people, I don't care how old your kid is, I don't care what the story is, like, always believe them first. Always tell them you believe them. Go get them checked out at the doctor's office. Get them fucking therapy. Go report it. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? If for some reason that kid is seen it somewhere and is saying it happened to them and it didn't, then fine, you find out after the fact. So the fuck what? You look like a fucking grown ass fucking adult by taking your kid to go get it figured the fuck out, and you stood by your kid the entire fucking time instead of belittling them or making them feel like they're not being heard.
Yeah.
That's the worst thing you can do to a child is make them feel unheard.
And sometimes I feel like the kids that are fibbing about it, they've seen it. They saw
Yeah.
it somewhere. They
Well, that's what I mean. It doesn't come from nowhere. It
others.
is literally something they've seen it or it's been done to them,
Yeah.
you know? So it's sad. It is sad. And there's a lot of people who are quick to say, oh, well, kids tell stories. Yeah, they fucking tell stories, but not about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, no kid is going to come out their mouth with some fucking sexual story out of nowhere. Just doesn't happen.
No, and if you look at a child and they're playing with their toys,
Mm-hmm.
those scenarios are stuff
Yep.
that they see, stuff that they've
Right.
witnessed. And if it's very inappropriate, then that's a telltale sign. Something has happened, something was
Yep.
watched, and I just, I kind of wish my mom noticed it more, but she worked. She worked when we were
Right.
right as soon as we got home, she went to work. We didn't see her when we went to bed.
Right.
Like we were in bed at 7, she got home at 7:30.
Yep.
And like it just the domino effect of everything in place, it was sucky.
It is. Absolutely.
I just I can't imagine doing that to a child. I can't imagine that happening to
No.
my son. Like I am right now trying at all costs just to protect him, keep him in my view because
Hmm.
right now he's so little. Like he
Right.
doesn't have a voice. He can't advocate for himself if it happens.
Exactly. Yep.
So like I don't trust a lot of people with him
Yep.
because of my situation.
And it's yeah, and it sucks because you literally got to be wary I mean, the boys are 7 and 8, and
Yeah.
I am not even exaggerating. When we go over to the playground here at the complex, I am right up underneath them. If they're going on the monkey bars, I'm standing right by the monkey bars. I'm not sitting on a bench. I feel like part of me is like, I feel like I'm that hovering mother that I kind of feel bad for it. But I'm also like, I don't. My kid ain't gonna be,
And
part of those statistics that they're gonna get fucking kidnapped and trafficked or molested and fucking left on the plate. I'll be fucking damned because I'll go straight back to fucking prison with a goddamn smile on my face. you know, like, don't test a mama bear, you know? But it's like, I am like, would I let them go to a sleepover at a friend's house? I can't even answer that honestly.
I
After everything that I have been through, um, and what I do, for catching, I can't, I don't know. I can't say I would say, yeah. Um,
don't think I could ever trust my son sleeping over somebody's house that I
right.
have known for over 20 years. And a lot of my friends I
Hmm.
know for over 20 years. And like I can't picture him sleeping over his friend's house because
Not
he
this
wants
day
to.
and age in
Right.
this society
Definitely.
where we get aware of this. We just
Yeah.
have now
No.
that we're aware of what's going
Yeah.
on in society and how many sick creds are out there.
And
Exactly.
like I tell my son as soon as he wants to go sleep over, they can sleep over here. They can sleep over.
Right. Yeah.
It's not happening.
Right.
Yeah, a preg catcher and you're an advocate for trying to save kids for in school. If you get that happening, that ball rolling,
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, good thing.
but they're just. It sucks
Yeah.
that there has to be more awareness out there because like nobody's educated on nowadays. Like
Right.
straight that I was taught, don't get in the van with a stranger who has puppies and candy. Like now it's like don't talk to that person on Xbox because you don't know who it is. Why are you giving them your school information? What grade you're in?
You
Right.
want to niece?
Like um, I have I have my two oldest nieces. I'll I have two stories about them. One, she was on Fortnite and she was talking about how she had a boyfriend. She was eight.
Yeah.
Okay, like and her mom was like, "Oh, you have a boyfriend? What do you mean?"
Yeah.
And she goes, "Yeah, I have a boyfriend on Fortnite. It's just Fortnite. I don't know. I don't know him in school. And it's
Right.
a boy." And my niece being, 8, going, "Yeah, it's a boy. Like, a guy is a boy."
Yep.
And she got on the mic and she heard the person talk, and it was a grown man.
Right. And most of the time, that's the sad thing is you don't know who's on the other end of that.
And
Um,
after my sister-in-law said, "Hey, he's not your boyfriend. You don't know him." And she
yep.
goes, "Oh, it's a stranger." Like, it hit her. It hit her that
Mhm.
she was talking to. It's not a friend. It's a stranger online.
Yeah.
You just
Yep.
don't see their face. And,
Somebody tried to like offer my nephew, he's 12 now, I think, but I mean, this was like a year ago, maybe 2 years ago. But anyways, it was on a game. And I think it could have been Fortnite. But anyways, he literally in the online saying in chat and or whatever, and he told my nephew that he would have bought him, we'll say V-Bucks, um, if he would be his friend. And so my nephew was, of course, at first, he's like, oh, cool, because my grandpa's not going to buy them for me, whatever, I have to earn them. Um, well, come to find out, so the guy bought him so much or whatever at first. The second time, he wanted my nephew to send him a picture of him in his swim trunks. And so, thank God, my nephew was smart enough to say something to my brother. And my brother was like, you know what Auntie Julie does for a living? Like she
yeah.
catches dudes like that. And I do not want to find you online talking to any of these guys again because at the end of the day, I mean, the guy is eventually going to ask for your address, and he's like, it's not okay to send a picture to anybody, in your swim trunks. And I mean, it's like, they do that shit on video games so often because they know there's like 8-year olds, 9-year olds, 10-year olds, 13-year olds on these games wanting the V-Bucks that their parents won't buy them, or that they have to earn. And they're quick to say, I'll buy you like, $30 worth or whatever for a couple of pictures, when you get out the tub or whatever the fuck. Like, you grimy ass nigga, stay away from my kids, like, the fuck? You pretending to be the same age as this child just so you can get them to give you what you want. You know, the games are probably, in my opinion, some of the worst places um, where you can find chomos, because the kids don't realize who they're speaking to. There's no pictures, there's no um, whatever. And sometimes, yeah, it's done through voice, chatting or whatever over the game. But it's like, if they're good at, voices like our decoys are, they could pretend to be any fucking age until you trust them, you
Uh,
know?
well, on another story about
Yeah.
the video game situation, my oldest niece, they played Fortnite with, so she played with her younger sister and her mom,
Hmm.
and this so-called boy. And come to find out, it was a 38-year-old, and he um, actually met up with my niece, uh, bought her alcohol,
Yeah.
bought her went into the school, her school,
Yeah.
took her to the woods and raped her.
Wow.
My niece is autistic. She doesn't comprehend what actually happened
Hmm.
and doesn't see anything wrong with it. Um, and before this whole scenario, uh, my sister figured out that it was a 38-year-old man that they were talking to on Fortnite and blocked him.
And through texting.
Yeah.
And through texting, because my niece was texting, gave her his number, um, and he would go and visit the school and hang out with her and her friends.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
it's scary.
it's very scary. And
I mean, I know
he,
they tried to hook up or set a meetup with my brother back when we had AOL. I mean, my mom was smart enough to go to the police station and report it, and they set up the meetup. And I mean, I'd never seen, I mean, it's a small town too. I never seen them quick to go on their shit, but they literally continued to chat with him, pretending to be my brother, and they met him and everything, and arrested him. But it's like, I mean, this is back in AOL chat room day. This shit has been around since the beginning of time. And I sadly don't think it's going anywhere. And I think the best thing we can do is set up as much of a defense as we can, and teach these kids what they should and shouldn't be doing, continue to get them the parental blocks and stuff. I have that shit on everything.
I,
My kids can't even download something without entering a password and it coming to my cell phone as a notification for me to allow it first. I don't, that shit scares me.
it is, and it's also the internet. Like, the internet is
Yeah.
hard. I was on a parenting page, and I'm just reading an article, and then all of a sudden a porn site pops up.
Yeah.
I I'm looking at what my toddler should be doing at this point, and all of a sudden it, like, that pops up. Um,
Mm-hmm.
like, different standards for internet. If we have standards for the television, for
Right.
for cable and everything like that, for app, we should
Yep.
have the internet.
Absolutely.
You should just go buy a DVD of porn or a magazine, just like the
Yep.
old. Keep it off the internet, because
Yeah.
it's our kids are on it now.
Right. And sadly, not every app or game has those parental controls either,
Oh,
That's why, like, I am thoroughly reading every game that these kids think they about to download. 'Cause
like,
if you can get online and be chatting, in a fucking chat room with anybody, not just people you friend request or whatever, so I know it couldn't just be like my brothers or my son-in-law. Then you're not getting the game. If
no,
I can't put a block on it, or keep you, if you can't play it while you're not online, playing it offline or whatever, it's not gonna be on your device. They get so upset at me. They're like, please, my friend's on this game. I don't give a shit. Are you your friend? Am I your friend's mother? No. So, sorry, we have different rules in the house. I just can't find myself like lightening up on them about that. You know what I mean? I just can't do it at all. It's too scary. Way too scary.
um,
Hey, CCC.
gave me the chat, so now I'm distracted.
So when that guy ended up doing that to your niece, the evidence was turned in, and he has a warrant for his arrest, correct?
Yes, he does have a warrant for his arrest, and he's still not caught. I think he fled the state. But yeah, and it's tough, my niece, because she really doesn't see anything like wrong with what happened, and it's scary because she can't hold those, she doesn't have those emotions, or
She doesn't
Mm-hmm.
in her voice to say this is wrong,
this was
or I
bad.
shouldn't be doing this, or if something does happen, the seriousness of it.
Right.
Yeah, no, yeah, parents need to be more directly supervised. Yeah.
Yep.
And the sucky part is my niece is, she is parental controlled like no tomorrow. She does not have
Mm-hmm.
in her bedroom. She does not have a tablet. She doesn't have any
Right.
video games because she would go and talk to boys. So she got cut off of that.
And she was
And
Right.
stealing from her mom.
she would steal her mom's cell phone and she would chat in the school emails
Yeah.
to friends.
And that's another thing too, is that the schools are getting more tech savvy, if you
Yeah,
would,
yeah.
where you, as long as you keep your school's email and password, for your device at school, you can still use that shit at home.
Yep.
Yeah. And
Or while you're in school, you can use it to be chatting with other people, because the school says it themselves. They do not go back in and be checking on, your email account and what each computer has been doing all day. And they need to, because this could be when these kids are chatting. We don't know that.
well,
Um,
yeah, and I think quite honestly there should be flags that go off on the system for
mhm.
Like
code
sex
words,
work
Yep.
or
stuff
anything
like
like
that.
that.
And like what the
There's apps. There are apps that. Oh, really, Cat Eyes? There are apps that you can download to put on each device. Like, so I have it on the boys' Switch too, but so any certain words, anything sexual, whatever, but there's specific words, swears, whatever, it will notify my phone. I'll get an alert, for every time something like that is said. Um, I'll have to get the app and post it on my community post, but there's a couple of them. I've been researching more and more apps, parental control apps, to post up, like, just, and like quick descriptions or whatever. So that way I can put it all on the community post for people as resources, because I think it would be super useful, for people to have that, especially who have young kids, and even teenagers,
Influence with
because
the
I feel like, right,
Yep.
you just never know, you know,
Hand
um,
about at the doctor's office the first day of school.
right,
they can even
yep,
put it in police stations, any place where, there's traffic, fire departments, stuff like that, have them handed out to parents when they're kind of in that situation or somewhere close to a situation like that. Just
yep,
for
yep, it's crazy. I'm making a note too, so I can find that, figure out which app it was, that I have on there, and post it on the community post.
the one thing I don't get is in schools though, they go ahead and try to teach about transgender kids at a very young age and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of parents don't agree with it, that they shouldn't know about it, but why can't they do stranger danger like this in school where it's a positive aspect
Exactly.
of safe?
Yep. Well, that's what, I mean, they if they're able to teach them about, the dare stuff, the drug stuff, I mean, any of that other stuff, I think, sure, you're going to allow that in the school, then we need to start doing stuff for online safety, whether it's gaming or apps. And also, like, make sure that these kids are aware that there's a survivors resource center in each school, because I mean, if your kid doesn't, something happens to them and they're maybe afraid to talk to the parent, or if the parent's usually never at home and they're closer with their counselor at school, whatever the fucking case is, um, they should have access to that,
They should.
because how many kids are even being molested at fucking home? A lot.
Yep.
And they don't feel like they have a place to go, or people to speak to, and they should absolutely have something set up for these kids to go to. I mean, 9 times out of 10, they trust their teacher more than they trust a parent or a family member at home. So why not have this set up and situated for them to be able to be open and have someone to speak to, instead of giving them a big ass roadblock,
I agree.
I think she's talking to her kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, Noah was yelling for me about he wanted his different. He didn't want his Switch. He wanted to use the phone
Oh.
because there's this it's like a, what do you call it? Power washing like simulator game that he uses. And I'm like, I don't even understand what's the excitement about pretending you can power wash a building, but like to each your own, you know? But he can only get it on one device, so so he wants the other one.
I'd be like, do you know that power wash game? Just go power wash the dishes.
Exactly. Exactly.
It
Too
was
funny.
over there dropping off some lollipops. He was asking me to play games and everything like that, and I told him next time I
Oh
bring my,
yeah.
I'll be able to.
Yep. He convinced Jay, he's like, Jay stopped by, I don't know, like a couple days ago or whatever. And he's like, he goes, Uncle Jay, he goes, you play Fortnite, right? He's like, my mom won't let me play it online, but can we play it together? And Jay's like, yeah. He's like, he's like, I know how your mom can be. I'm like, fuck you. But it was hilarious. So he's like, did Jay text you his Fortnite name yet? It's like, I'm like, because I'm only, he's only allowed to like have like certain people on there. So like he's got like my brothers who play, my two nephews. Um, I think they're God like 9 and 10 now, or 8 and 10, I think. Um, so he's got them on there, and then but he like the way he sees it is he just wants to get like on Fortnite they like have different outfits or whatever, and they call them skins.
Yeah.
So he know he knows if he plays with certain people, they can trade skins or whatever. So he's always like, I want to play with people who will trade skins with me. So Jay's like, oh, I got a bunch of skins I can send you. And now he's like hounding me. Has Uncle Jay texted you? Like, yeah, he did, But now he's just like ready to get rid of his old skins and, get new. I'm like, oh my God, you guys.
God, it's like a pair of shoes.
Exactly. Just rotate them out. For real. Let's see. All right, Kurt, thank you for coming, honey. I
No problem.
appreciate it.
So it's good.
Jersey.
I feel better.
I hope that's. Thank you, Jersey. That was nice.
Thank you, everybody, for showing hearts earlier and all that support. It's greatly appreciated to know that we have
Yeah.
people in this chat.
Yeah. Right, Phantom. Right, Phantom.
Thank you, Kim. Thank you, Jersey. That was nice. Thank you, Rockstar. All right, you guys. Well, I appreciate you guys so much. And we will have to get 10 back on here for chapter 2 for her story if she's willing to come back on here. And the kids. Oh, what'd you say?
But yeah, I could.
Yeah, for sure. Whenever, dude. Whenever. Um, Thank you, Kim.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rumsky. Thanks, Braden.
Oh, I just read that.
You're sweet. You guys are awesome for all the positivity. You have no idea. I mean, some of you obviously know because you're survivors too, but the positivity and, oh, okay, Kurt. The positivity and, just the love and stuff is such massive support, and can do so much for a survivor. Um, so I appreciate you guys supporting her big time.
I gotta get off now.
All right. Thank you so much, 10.
No problem. It was
All
good.
right, honey.
Bye.
Yes, it was. You did amazing.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Thanks, Jersey. I'm glad you're subscribed now, honey. Anytime, Dominique. All right, you guys. Much love. I should see you on Wednesday. I think I do have a story on Wednesday. I can't remember, but I will post it early if I do. So I appreciate you guys so much. And I hope everybody has a good Sunday night.